Okay, Frame, get your stuff together.
What?
The bus will be leaving in a couple of minutes.
Bus?
Yeah, the bus to the courthouse. That's where you'll be arraigned.
Oh. Then what?
This your first time visiting us?
Well, for this kind of thing.
Yeah, well, then they'll probably release you on your own recognizance. Providing you're employed here in town and you have a permanent address.
I do?
No, there'll be no problem.
Does that mean I don't have to have a lawyer?
Not right now, not till later, if you don't want to.
Good.
Do your wrists together behind your back.
Nobody has to know.
What are your plans for today, Rachel?
I just want to get things organized around here.
Okay. Ha! Here you are. Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay.
Cereal there.
Come on. Sit down and finish your breakfast. Clarice will be by in a minute to get you, okay? Okay, honey. Let me move you in a little bit. There you go. Whoopee. One sandwich. One apple. Other sandwich.
You all right?
Other apple. I will be as soon as I get these lunches together.
Listen, I know this is a big house full for you, but hopefully it won't last too long. As soon as I find out my legal status, we'll be able to get on with our lives.
Okay. Listen, you and the children are always welcome here. You know that. We have things we should talk about.
Oh. This cup of, whatever it is hardly doing the trick.
I think they took the caffeine out when they took the taste out.
Yeah, and replaced it with dishwater.
Jerry, did you take your pills yet?
No,
Why not?
because they're all gone.
Great.
Terrific.
I'll be okay.
Well, I don't happen to agree with you, all right? You look... I'm gonna go get some aspirin.
Okay.
I don't have any money.
There you go. Count your change.
I will.
You really doing okay, man?
Hey, where'd you dump the pickup?
I parked it a couple of blocks from here in a no parking zone. It should get picked up and towed away pretty soon. The owner should get it back sometime today.
Good, I suppose it was stolen for a good cause.
We merely borrowed it to save our skins. A completely valid excuse, if you ask me.
Speaking of staying alive, I held you guys up yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. And Jordan's men could have caught Blaine because of it.
Well, if they didn't.
That's not the point. They could have. They probably will if there's ever a next time.
There won't be a next time, so don't worry about it.
But let's face it, Sandy. I can't keep up with you. I'm holding you back, and it might cost Blaine her life.
Look, her life isn't the only one that's on the line here, okay?
Hers is the only one that I'm concerned about.
Come off it, Jerry, man. Quit trying to play at being a saint, all right?
I am not playing at anything. I am dead serious.
Dead serious about what?
About my getting up and walking right out of here.
No way,
Look,
man.
you take care of Blaine. You take care of her and see that she's safe. Look. It's the only choice that we have got left.
And now, the continuing story of Another World.
I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Don't you worry about my time. Come on, sit down. Anything pressing comes up, I'll let you know. Please.
Thanks. How are you?
Well, I'm just fine, but I'm sure you didn't come here to inquire about my health.
No, I guess I didn't.
What's wrong?
It's Jamie. I'm worried about it.
Yes. I'm very worried, too. But still, I think this is just a passing thing. He's going through an extremely difficult period. Not only because too much pressure of work here at the complex, but, you know, Rachel and my separation, it's disturbed him enormously.
Mac, I'm sorry to hear about that. Jamie and I were both hoping that you two might have your difficulties resolved by now.
Thank you. I appreciate your concern.
I just want you to be happy.
Yes. Well, but about Jamie now.
Yeah. Lately, Jamie's been so...
I know. Yes, I know, but I think the things I mentioned are what's bothering him.
No, it seems to have gone way past bothering him.
Past bothering him?
Mac, Jamie just stormed out of the house last night, and he hasn't been home since. I can't find him. I'm worried about him.
Well...
I've called everywhere. I just can't imagine where he's gone.
Sometimes he goes up to the cabin when he's troubled. Have you tried to reach him?
I know. I've tried there, and there was no answer.
Maybe he's just not picking up the phone.
Maybe, but that's what I thought could have happened last night when I called, but when he didn't answer the phone again this morning. Mac, do you think that Jamie's all right?
Well, I'm sure he's all right. Could I ask you something personal? Did you and Jamie have a fight last night?
I wouldn't exactly call it a fight. He came home last night and he was very upset. And I tried to do everything I could to comfort him, but it just wasn't enough. You know, I think I must be the worst wife in the whole world.
Cecile...
I know I failed him.
You must not blame yourself. As I told you, he has some real problems now. Problems that you don't have anything to do with. And he's got to work them through himself in his own mind, which is something no one else can do for him.
But I can't stand to see him suffer like he is. And yet I get so frustrated sometimes when he just won't talk to me. I know I've got to try to be more understanding, but...
I'm telling you, it is not your fault, and I don't want to see you doing this to yourself.
But how can I help it? I mean, it's got to be some part of my fault. I mean, it's like Jamie isn't... He's not Jamie anymore. I swear, sometimes I don't even know it.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Well, I wish I did. But he's like a stranger. And I miss him. I love him.
I'm sure things are going to work out all right, Cecile.
You know what I feel the worst about?
What?
Is that I know that if I hadn't come between Rachel and Jamie, that none of this would have happened.
Well, if Rachel and Jamie were communicating, perhaps it wouldn't have happened. But after all, Rachel and Jamie not talking, that's Rachel's fault, not yours.
All I do know is that, Mac, Jamie needs help from someone. What can I do?
I'll look for him. I'll find him. I'll talk to him.
Would you please?
I'll do the best I can to get to the bottom.
Oh, Mac, if anybody can get through to him, I know you can.
I'll do my best. And you must promise me you'll do your best to relax about this. Together, I think that we can help Jamie. I'm sure we can.
I hope so. Thanks for being so understanding.
We'll talk later.
Okay.
Liz, get Dr. Rick Holloway on the phone for me. Thank you.
Hey, Phil.
You're in a lot earlier than I expected.
Yeah, no. Yes, I am.
Are you sure you checked all of the delivery points?
It's my job.
But there aren't enough papers?
Well, most of the stands are sold out, which makes my job a whole lot easier.
Which also means that the paper might be doing a little better, Leigh.
Yeah, I can't wait for the day all the stands are sold out.
Oh, come on, half your job will be missing then.
Oh, now that'd be a drag, wouldn't it? I'd rather schlep papers around all afternoon. I
Come
never
on.
realized news could be so
It's
heavy.
good for your hockey muscle.
Hockey's good for my hockey muscles.
Say, Leigh, you did go down to the police station, didn't you?
Yeah, I stepped in there for a minute.
Well, anything interesting happening?
Oh, well, there wasn't any murders or anything like that. No.
Okay, there were no murders. That's good. Was there anything else?
No, just the usual. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Why do I have the feeling that you're hiding some specific incident from me?
Jamie Frame.
What about her?
Well, look, I'm sure he's not guilty or anything like that. It's probably just a mistake.
What was a mistake?
It sure just doesn't sound like him.
Come on, Leigh. You just want to spit it out?
Jamie got arrested last night. He got arrested for driving under the influence of an unknown substance.
He what?
Look, it's probably just a mistake. He's probably not guilty.
Where is he now?
In jail still, I guess. You're not going to write a story about this, are you?
No, of course not. Don't you worry. The Bay City Sentinel will probably do enough with Jamie's arrest for both papers.
What do you mean you lost them?
Well, listen to me and I'll tell you. We got the address from that doctor, but somebody must have tipped them off.
What? Who could have tipped them off?
I don't know. We were waiting in the hotel room. They got as far as the door and then they bolted. They took off like lightning. We chased them.
And then you lost them. You and Eddie, supposedly two professionals, let three people run away from you. One of them a woman and one of them sick.
Oh, you got it all wrong, Mr. Scott. They really know their way around. That Sandy kid, he found a pickup, they got away.
All right, Steele. Well, it looks like you really got your work cut out for you. Since you blew it when the situation was simple.
What? Look, how can I be?
Listen. Now, Dr. Albert says Grove was sick, right?
Yeah?
Well, so all you have to do is check every clinic, every drugstore until you get a lead on them.
Oh, that's an awful lot of places, Mr. Scott.
Like I said, you blew it when it was handed to you on a silver platter.
But we don't even know if they stayed in this area.
You said they left all their money and most of their stuff in the hotel room. Now, I don't suppose they went too far, do you? Unless you've got a better idea, I suggest you get started. And another thing, Steele. According to my books, if you were a cat, you just used up the 8th of your 9 lives.
I'll get them this time, Mr. Scott.
You listen to me loud and clear. This is your last chance.
So, you administered 4 cc's of... Not 4 cc's of what, Rick?
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I must have wandered my mind.
Yeah, your mind has been wandering ever since you got here. I know getting married is a big deal and all of that.
That's not what I'm thinking about. Russ, I know someone who is slipping into a very serious problem.
What kind of a problem?
Prescription drug addiction.
Well, who is it?
I'd rather not say, but believe me, I've done everything I can to get him to stop. I've tried talking to him. I've tried reasoning with him. I even took away his candy store once, but like everybody else, he seems to be able to get whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and... Well, he is falling apart right before my eyes, and there doesn't seem to be anything that I can say or do to help.
You're very upset about this, aren't you?
I'm upset, and I'm also very worried.
Well, did something happen recently?
Last night, again.
You're talking about Jamie Frame, aren't you?
You know.
Well, no, I didn't know. Not until now. But I did see last night's patient reports from the ECU. I know the police brought him in. I know you treated him.
Yeah. Last night, that's when it really hit me. Jamie was picked up for driving under the influence of an unknown substance. I mean, that is a great way to kill yourself.
Well, what was he on last night?
Tranquilizers.
I suppose I should have seen this coming. I just thought Jamie was too bright for that sort of thing.
Maybe being bright is his problem. He expects too much of himself.
Yeah. He's really in a lot of trouble, isn't he?
I think so.
Have you talked to anyone else about this?
No. Well, Mary Ann might have figured it out on her own. I don't know.
Well, ordinarily I wouldn't do this, but Jamie's like family to me, so...
Well, what do you have in mind?
I think I'm going to tell his mother about the situation.
Russ, you can't do that to me. You're going to violate my...
I will not. I will not jeopardize your relationship with Jamie. I just think his mother should know what's going on so that she can be there for him.
Well, I mean, I think that's the best way to handle it.
I also think that you should talk to him again. You know where he's coming from, and you can tell him where he's going.
Yes. Listen, Mom. Are you bothered by us being here?
Nope.
Well, something about us being here is bothering you.
I didn't say that. Oh, there's Clarice. Okay, ladies. Let's go.
All right, have a good day.
You take the lunches. Come on,
Good.
Mel. You gonna take your own?
Okay, yeah, that's okay. She's got it.
She's got it. Okay.
That's okay. I'm going to go put the baby down, Mom.
Okay, come on, honey, this way.
All right, have a good day.
See you later, sweetie. All right, come on, and don't leave your lunch in the car now. All right, Clarice? Okay. Have a good day, honey. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye, sweetheart.
Oh, well, the baby went right down. He must have been awfully sleepy.
He's a good baby.
Yes, he is. Okay, what's bothering you?
I'm worried about you.
Don't be. Look, I know what I'm doing is right for me. I love Mitch, and I want us to be a family.
Well, you came to that decision pretty fast.
I know it seems that it was fast, but this last year I've been not admitting a lot of things to myself.
Well, I hope you're not kidding yourself now.
I'm sure I'm not.
You better be.
I am.
Paying an awful big price, you know.
Well, sometimes it costs a lot, doesn't it, to, do what's right for you?
If you really love somebody, maybe.
Well, we love each other.
I think you're dreaming.
Mom, I know what I'm doing.
I hope you do.
I went into this with my eyes open.
Well, I don't know if I believe that. What plans have you and Mitch made?
None.
None? Oh, well, that's just great.
I can't make any plans. I can't do anything to jeopardize my chances of getting custody of Amanda.
You know the legal rules on it?
No, I don't.
Better get yourself a lawyer.
I know, I should.
There's no way of telling when you and Mitch will be able to live together, is there?
No, I'm afraid there isn't.
Rachel, there's something I want to say to you, and I want you to know that I mean it.
What?
As long as you and the children are staying here in this house, I don't want Mitch to be an overnight guest here, ever.
Okay, Mom. Don't worry, I wouldn't let that happen. Okay. Hello? Hi, Russ. Yeah, I'm all right. What's the matter with Jamie? Was he all right? Okay, I'll be right down there. Thanks.
What was that all about?
Well, Russ wants to talk to me about Jamie. He says it's important.
I'm not paying you to mope around here like a lovesick schoolboy, so if you can't help it, I'd suggest very strongly that you get this little difficulty straightened out now.
Don't think I'm not trying to, Jess. Now, Ken Steele is closing in on the three of them. I talked to him this morning. It's just that he can't quite get close enough.
Perhaps a real expert is called for.
You got somebody in mind?
Yeah, I do.
Who?
You. I want you to go and bring Blaine back home.
But how can I get away from here, Jess? There's too much to do.
You're not accomplishing anything, Jordan. You're useless to me when you're in a state like this.
Yeah, but if I...
Look, you might as well go and bring her back. The whole problem will solve itself much quicker if you do. If I remember correctly, you used to be very good at this sort of thing.
Yeah, I was. But what about the work here?
Don't worry about it. I'll have Jason Dunlap fill in for you.
Russ, what's wrong with Jamie? Is he sick?
Oh, wait a minute, no. Just give me a moment. I'll explain everything. Go sit down over here. Can I get you something? Or a cup of tea,
No,
maybe?
just tell me what's wrong with Jamie.
Well, as far as I know, there's nothing physically wrong with Jamie. It's his mental state that I'm concerned about.
What are you talking about?
I gather that Jamie is, he's under a lot of pressure lately, work-related pressure.
Yes, I keep telling Mac he's giving him too much to do, but he won't listen to me.
I think that Jamie is having a drug problem.
Well, I just don't believe that. I mean, I know he's got problems, serious problems, but I don't think drugs are one of them.
Rachel, you're wrong. Drugs are a problem for Jamie.
But, Russ, he's never gotten into anything like this. Why would he start now?
Oh, he's never been under this kind of pressure before. Undoubtedly, Jamie thinks that this is the only way he can cope. He's not taking drugs just to get high. He's taking them to get through the day.
Why?
There's too many deadlines, too much to do, not enough time. So you take a pill, you take an upper, and suddenly you've got plenty of time. You can meet all the deadlines. Then, of course, you have to sleep. But you can't because you're too wired, so you take something to bring yourself down. Then you wake up, you have a hangover from the sleeping pills, and you have another deadline. But an upper will take care of all of that, and that's the way the cycle goes.
And Jamie's doing that?
Yeah. Probably he thinks it's the only way he can cope. And I'm sure he thinks he's in control, but he isn't. It's a very dangerous game that he's playing.
I just don't believe this, Russ. I mean, Jamie's too smart for that.
Yeah, well, so were all of the other professionals who got themselves into the very same kind of a bind.
You're sure about this? Really sure?
Rachel, come on. Now, would I even mention it to you if I weren't?
No, I guess you wouldn't. Well, all right, what do I do?
Right now, nothing. There are a few things that have happened lately that just might cause Jamie to start thinking about what he's doing to himself and thinking hard.
But, Russ, isn't there something more we can do?
I don't know if there's anything more that we can do, except to be there if he needs us to help him. Yes. That's why I wanted to tell you all about this, so that you would be there for him when he needs you.
Yes, but suppose he doesn't tell me that he needs me.
Then you're going to have to let him know that you're available. He'll come to you when the time is right.
All right, I'll try. What's happening to him?
Like I said, too much pressure.
Yes, but certainly Mac knows that he's giving him too much responsibility.
I don't know about that.
I think I know why he's done it.
Rachel, Mac wouldn't do something like this deliberately.
I think he's doing it to get back at me. Through Jamie.
Come on, Jerry. Forget it, man. I don't even want to talk about it.
Talk about what?
This guy has got some crazy ideas, and he thinks he wants to...
It's not a matter of what I want. It's a matter of practicality. Blaine, you stay with Sandy. I'm walking out of here.
Jerry, what are you talking about?
I think it would be better.
Enough. Man, I don't even want to hear this. Sit down.
It's the only logical thing we can do.
Look, logic. Man, Jerry, logic doesn't even enter into this game. All we're trying to do is keep body and soul together 1 hour at a time. And no amount of logical martyrdom is going to get any one of us even one step closer toward that goal.
Is he suggesting doing what I think he's suggesting doing?
Yes, he is.
Damn it. I am holding you back, Blaine.
Jerry, no. There is no way I would think of leaving you.
See, I'm holding you back, Blaine.
Listen, man, the only thing that are holding us back are a few cold, hard realities. Such as the fact that all of our money, or at least most of it, is in that hotel room, plus all of our clothing and our luggage. Not only that, we've only got a little cash and got to try and find a place to hide out. We've got to get your prescription filled, but most of all, we have to keep a low profile so Jordan Scott's men don't find us again. And if we're going to do that, all three of us have to stay together.
You're not listening.
We are listening to you. We just don't happen to agree with you. Look, there's no way that you could make it on your own, Jerry. If you tried, Jordan's men would find you.
And then you'd be the late Cherry Grove.
Well, at least that would occupy them for a while and give you both a little time.
Price is too high, buddy. You're just gonna have to forget it.
Look, it's my decision, Sandy.
No way. Come on, you guys, let's get out of here. We gotta see if we can find one really cheap hotel that'll take 3 vagabonds like us. With no luggage and no questions.
Hello, Jamie.
What are you doing here?
Looking for you.
Oh, I was just on my way over to your office.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, sorry, I was probably a little late for our appointment.
That's okay. I really didn't expect you to show up.
Why?
I thought you might be busy with this. What happened, Jamie?
Well, it says it all there. The police are quite thorough.
No, all it says here is that one Jamie Frame was picked up and arrested last night for driving under the influence of some unknown chemical substance. That he was going to court today to be arraigned.
Was arraigned just now in there.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you want to fill me in on the blanks?
There aren't any.
Why'd you do it, Jamie? You know how dangerous it is to drive under drugs.
I survived.
You were lucky you were picked up. And what in the world could you have been thinking to get into a car?
What, are you going to write a story about this?
Why are you taking drugs?
I don't want any of this in print.
Don't worry about it. I'm not going to print it. But I'll tell you something. Our competition will. They're going to have a heyday knowing that the publisher of the Ledger was put in jail for the night.
Is there a coffee shop around here?
And all you have to say...
What do you want me to do? Beg your forgiveness?
No, I didn't ask you to do
Look,
that.
it happened. I would have liked for it to have been kept quiet, but obviously that is not the case. So the only alternative for me is to deal with it in my own way.
Maybe you should talk about it.
No, that's precisely what I don't want to do.
All right, Jamie. You handle it in your own way. But I'll tell you something. There is something you're going to have to deal with. Whether you like it or not.
What?
Now, you know I was doing checking into the Oregon Shipping Corporation.
Right, the company we sold the dock site.
No, the company that you arranged to sell the dock site to.
Yeah, I did, so?
You selected that company so you could avoid selling to the West End Development Project.
What are you getting at?
The Oregon Shipping Corporation's a front, Jamie. It's owned by a man named Jess Cooper. And he also owns the West End Development Project. So what you really did is you sold to the people you tried to avoid in the first place. And now they own and operate all the projects down at the dock site.
Please, sit down.
Thanks, Mr. Grant.
I'm sorry if I've taken you away from your duties at the hospital.
Well, I don't have to be back for a couple hours, so it really wasn't a problem.
Oh, that's good. Still, I know your free time is very valuable to you.
Well,
I know how hard interns must have to work.
It's all right, really.
Well, I do appreciate your taking the time.
Well, I hope I can be of some use, although I have some doubts.
Why do you say that?
Well, if this is about the project you had with my father down at the docks, I have to tell you that I wasn't involved at all. In fact, I don't even know the status of the project, with the exception of some information that Jamie gave me.
It's not the dock site that I want to talk to you about.
Well, I don't know what else I could
Rick,
possibly...
I don't want to put you in a difficult position, but I am desperately in need of some information about Jamie.
I really don't think...
Please, Rick, I would never ask you to reveal a confidence between yourself and a patient. But you see, some things have come to my attention regarding Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
And I do hope that you will be able to shed some light on them for me.
Such as?
Well, lately, he's developed rather erratic patterns of behavior. Patterns that have affected not only his work, but even his relationship with his family.
Yes.
Does that yes mean that you've noticed this too? I would like to assist Jamie in any way I can. At the same time, I don't want to intrude into his personal life. I can well understand it if he has a medical problem or whatever that he wants to handle alone. But still, is there anything that I can do to help?
Mr. Corey, Jamie is under way too much pressure.
Yes, I should have recognized that long ago.
Well, not necessarily. Even those of us who know that we don't handle pressure well often let it creep up, and this didn't happen overnight to Jamie.
No, certainly didn't. Tell me, has he developed any specific problems as a result of this pressure?
Let me tell you about a medical student I knew once.
Please.
He went into medicine because, well, he was really very interested in it. And suddenly his father was very interested in him becoming a doctor. But his father wasn't going to be happy if he was just a good doctor. No, he had to be the best doctor in the Western Hemisphere. And pretty soon this happy young medical student felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. He felt that he couldn't succeed unless he was number one, and then pretty soon he felt like a failure. But there was hope. He found that there was a little black pill that he could take so that he could stay up and study all night, and that there was a little red one that would help him sleep afterwards. And pretty soon our happy young medical student was a drug addict. He almost killed himself in order to prove to his father that he could make the grade. The end.
The way you tell that story would seem...
I'm sorry, Mr. Corey. I really don't want to go into it.
You know, sometimes parents expect too much because they've worked too hard to provide the best for their children.
Sometimes that is the case, yes.
So, is this where Jamie is now?
If you're asking me if Jamie is addicted to uppers and downers, I'm afraid I can't discuss that with you, but I can tell you one thing. Unless some of the pressure is relieved, and soon, any problems Jamie might be having could get out of control and lead him into a very serious situation.
I'll see that pressure is taken from Jamie.
The sooner the better. I want her to come back a whole person just as much as you do, Mr. Corey.
Thank you very much, Rick. I really appreciate it.
Mrs. Corey, hello.
I want to talk to you, Meg.
Sorry. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Rachel, in the future, would you please have Liz buzz me before you come storming in here unexpectedly?
I want you to leave Jamie out of our problems.
What are you talking about?
I want you to answer a question for me, and I want you to answer it honestly. Are you using Jamie to get at me? Is that why he has all of these problems now?
Don't be ridiculous, Rachel. Amateur psychiatry does not become you. If you want to place the blame for the shape Jamie's in, you might look at yourself.
You are the one who's putting the pressure on him.
By making him heir to a fortune, yes, pressure he could handle very well until you refused to accept his wife and abandon your family for a lover.
I am well aware of what I've done. But I want you to know what you've done. Are you aware of what you've been doing to him?
Rest assured, I am,
I don't
Rachel.
think so, otherwise you'd be willing to discuss this
Rachel,
with me.
would you please leave my office?
We have to discuss this, Mac.
No, we do not.
Mac?
If you cared about anything or anyone except your own selfish pleasures, no one in this family would be going through the hell we're going through now. Now, will you leave me alone? I've got a lot of work, including Jamie's, to do.
Come in. You want to see me, Jordan?
Yeah, I did.
So, what's up?
I just want to let you know that Jason Dunlap will be in charge of both the arena and the connection for a couple of days. I want you to help him out in any way you can, all right?
Whatever you say.
That's what I say.
Fine, it's no problem. Are you going out of town or something?
I'm not quite sure it's any of your business, Ewing.
Look, it's no offense. I was just trying to be friendly.
On second thought, I guess it does concern you.
Yeah? How's that?
Well, I'm taking a trip for your little sister.
What about Blaine?
I know where she is. I'm going to get Blaine, and I'm going to bring her back to Bay City.
Western Development Company owns everything at the docks.
Everything.
Does Mac know?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell me first?
Because I didn't know you were going to be in jail all night. And
Philip, Jamie.
What are you doing here?
Leigh Hobson told me that you might be down here, but he didn't say why you'd be at the courthouse.
Look, I've got some things to check into. I'll talk to you later.
Where are you going?
I'll talk to you later about this, Jamie.
Can we talk?
Yeah, sure. So. Cecile, I'm sorry.
Rachel, will you please sit down? Whatever it is that's bothering you isn't going to get better if you wear a hole in the floor. Sorry. Don't be sorry. Just stop. I'm stopping. Well, now what are you going to use for a napkin? Here, this is yours. Well, you can tell me what this is all about? Oh, that's hot. Do you think that Russ is an alarmist? No, I don't. Then it's got to be true, I guess. I don't know what you're talking about, Rachel, so why don't you fill me in from the beginning? Do you think that Jamie's been acting strangely lately? What did Russ tell you about Jamie? He thinks he has a drug problem. A drug... Russ asked you to go down to the hospital to tell you that? Yeah. I don't believe it. I do. He says that Jamie isn't taking the drugs for a high or anything. He's just taking them to get through a day. He takes something to pep him up so that he can get through all of his work, and then he can't sleep at night, so he takes a sleeping pill so he can sleep. He's doing it for his career. Yeah, apparently. Is Russ positive? Well, he wouldn't have told me about it if he wasn't positive. Does make a little sense, though. What does? Well, one morning, Jamie came to see me, you know. He was so tense he was jumping out of his skin. So the morning you called, he wouldn't talk to you. Mm-hmm. Well, right after you called, he ran out of that shop like a cat with its tail on fire. What? Well, he wasn't acting like himself, and now I think about it, he hasn't been acting like himself for quite a while now. Kept thinking it was just because he was tired, overworked. Yes, but he has been tired and overworked. Well, it sounds to me like it's a vicious circle, you know? He takes a pill to wake himself up because he's very tired, and then he gets so wide awake he can't sleep, so he takes another pill. Yeah, that's the way Russ described it. How did Jamie ever get tied up in something like that? I don't know how, but I think I know why. What are you getting at? It's Mac's fault. Mac has pushed him into this situation, and I think he's doing it to get back at me. He's doing this to Jamie to get back at me.
I'm the one who should be saying
No,
sorry,
no,
Jamie.
Cecile. I was... See, I don't know what happened with me. I don't want to hurt.
I know.
I don't ever want to hurt you again.
I know that now. It's just that night I was just...
I just want you to know that I'm not ever going to hurt you again. I promise. Ever.
And I promise that I'll always be here for you.
Home sweet home.
These places just keep going from bad to worse.
Yeah, and fast.
Why, pray tell, would they make us pay in advance for a room like this? Unless, of course, they were afraid we'd see it and back right out.
Well, I think our lack of luggage maybe had them worried. That combined with the fact that most of their clients would skip out on them given the chance.
Understandably.
Jerry, how are you feeling?
I'm okay.
Now, listen, I've still got that prescription that they gave me at the free clinic. I can get that filled for you.
No, not yet. Let's not put ourselves out in the open again. Besides, I really don't feel that bad.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see how you feel tomorrow.
Yeah. Our luck's gotta change.
Well, you are right about that. Maybe this time we can keep out of Scott's way. That's the kind of luck we need.
Where to, sir?
Just drive. I'll give you directions as we go.
Fine. And welcome to New York, Mr. Scott.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Another Work.